draw. A draw to start the 2023 season. Round one, I mean, on paper, a lot of people did find it hard to split the two teams apart. Richmond, Carlton, both tipped to be top eight teams. Blues on the rise, Richmond looking to sort of reclaim their status at the top of the ladder, and it was a big game. It was a big game on paper. It was a big game at the G. There's obviously 88,000, huge crowd, and then to end in a draw was so anticlimactic. And we had our chances. We really did. I think I don't think I know. We were the better team on the night as an all-round thing. We just couldn't convert, and every time Carlton went forward, they could. So in that sense, they were better. But as a whole, I believe we were the better team. I mean, I've got some of the stats here. We had more clearances. We had more inside 50s. I think it was nearly 20 plus the entire inside 50s that Carlton had. We had more marks inside 50, more possessions, that's contested and uncontested. We had more tackles. We had 16 forward half turnovers in the first quarter alone, which hasn't been done since 2021. So the stats are all there to say that we were the better side and that we should have comfortably won. I think we're a 4-goal better side. And, people can make whatever excuses they want for it, but I just think at the end of the day, we haven't learnt that much from last year, because I think this happened numerous times, and especially some of these close games that we lost last year where we did dominate the stats or the inside 50s, and it's such a positive to look at, but it's also a big negative when you're not capitalizing on these discrepancies in the stats, that we're so high up on them as well. So that's really disappointing that we haven't grown from that. But again, I'm also glad we're able to compose and, focus when Carlton were up with only a minute to go and to get it down to Lynch, and for Lynch to take that fantastic grab, pack mark. I mean, he was getting manhandled all day. Most of the times it was 2-on-1 where one guy would sort of hold him down, someone else would fly across, and it's one of the only ways to stop him. So, credit there. They did what they could to stop him. He still had 6 shots on goal, kicked 3 of them. So he arguably could have finished the day with 5 or 6 goals. So probably lucky for Carlton that he didn't do that. But he kicked the one that mattered, and that was to tie the game. So thankfully Lynch was there when we needed him. But like I said, it was disappointing we weren't further up on the scoreboard. But I'll go through some of the players that I was really impressed with. And the obvious one, and one we're all thinking about, was arguably the best on ground, Timmy Taranto. He had 32 disposals, 8 tackles, 12 contested possessions, and he could have had 2 or 3 goals if he had kicked a little straighter in the forward line. And just what a start to his Richmond career. It's going to be so exciting watching him for the rest of the season, and it was a joy again on Thursday night. And it's I know Monday, the day the videos was releasing, and it feels like Thursday was a lifetime ago, but it's good for me to rehash all this and so bring it all up now, because Taranto was fantastic. And then my other player, I got 2 more, but the other one that's on this list was Daniel Rioli. I think he was superb. He had 681 metres gained. It was a game high. 27 disposals. He went at 93% efficiency, 93% efficiency, which is nuts. I mean, he's had 27 touches. It's not like he's only had a small amount. He's had a lot of touches, and 93% of them hit their target, which is unbelievable. He's so clean with his ball use. He had 7 intercept possessions and 5 rebound 50s and 5 inside 50s, which just the way he contributes to our team, he's a star. And if he continues his form and carries over the form from last year as well, he'll be an All-Australian halfback, no doubt in my mind. He's going to be star of the game if he's not already. Jack Graham, there's a lot of talk about whether Jack would find his way into this side with the midfield we've now got, and they found a nice little spot for him there on the half-forward flank, and he did roll through the guts when he had to, but his pressure was insane. I feel like he had 2 or 3 tackles holding the ball at crucial times. He had 9 tackles in total for the game, 20 disposals, 9 of those were contested. He was all over the shop fridge, and Kane Corn says it. He said it a few times now publicly, and I agree, where I think on the run, like if you're coming in from the outside 50, running in, Jack Graham is one of the best shots on goal in that situation, and he had 2 of them in the first quarter, and he missed them both, which is so unlike him, which I guess just sort of sums up our kicking performance in general. We missed a lot of easy shots on goal, and I mean, we won't get into Shea Bolton's shot. I'm still ripping whatever hair I got left out of my head with Shea Bolton's shot on goal, so we won't get into it that deep, but we all know that that's disappointing. It's something we have to work on. So, but I thought Jack was really good other than those couple of missed shots on goal. And then the last one, I mean, there's a few other players, of course, that I haven't mentioned and I won't mention, but we all know who they are. But this one I'm going to mention here is our co-captain, Toby Nankervis. Grimes was great too, but Nankervis I thought was unreal. I think we had nearly double the amount of hitouts that Carlton did, and Nank had 37 of those individually, 11 contested possessions, 11 tackles, and 24 pressure acts, which for a big man, I mean, how often do you see that? You expect that from, smaller small forwards or your shorter midfielders and those sorts of guys as pressure type players. But when you've got your ruckman, like one of the biggest guys on the ground doing that, that's half the reason he's captain. It's the little things like that. Like pressure acts don't necessarily win you awards or get too much recognition, but for me personally, I love it. I think it's a fantastic thing, and it brings us back to that 2017, 2018 style of football that we played and made us so successful. So if we're bringing that back, then by all means, I'm over the moon with that. So that's pretty much it. They're the sort of four players I wanted to talk about. I've mentioned the performance. I just thought it was such a weird game to be at. If you guys are there, let me know what you thought about the game as a whole. It was unreal to be back at the football. It was a great build-up, and I got to the London Tavern in the not in the morning, that's a bit early. I got to the London Tavern around 4:30, 5 o'clock, met up with Marcus, who I do Pressure Point with, big Blues man. So the rivalry started there. Made the walk down to the G. I had my sister and brother-in-law with me. So it was just a good time. We sat down at the seats. I'm looking around. The song played, and it was shame we didn't get to hear the song twice, but it was an experience to be back, and I'm glad footy is back because I think Melbourne and Australia as a whole is a better place when footy is up and running, and could be a biased opinion because I'm obsessed with it, but I think it's very true. So those are my thoughts on the game. I think we were the better side. We dominated a lot of play, just couldn't convert when we really needed to. We had some players that shunned, some that didn't necessarily. Lots to work on, but I still think we're going to be a competitive side this year. I don't think the fact that we couldn't get over the line or capitalise at certain times is going to reflect the rest of the season. I do really believe we still have the potential to be a great side. So those are my thoughts on the game. Let me know what everybody thinks. There is some exciting stuff happening at the moment. Like I said, the Pressure Point podcast is up and booming. I'm also now a part of a new show called Forever Rivals, and that's forever, like the number 4, so Four, ever, Rivals, Forever Rivals. It's over on the Jumper Punch channel, which, yes, it's a Carlton-based channel, but this show is not Carlton specific. It's got a Richmond supporter, myself, Carlton supporter, Collingwood supporter, Essendon supporter, one supporter from each of the big 4 clubs. It's going to be a once-a-week live stream, Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, and it's basically just us talking about the week that was, giving each other a lot of banter, talking back and forth, having goes at each other. It's all lighthearted, a lot of fun. But come over, jump in the comments. I noticed the first episode was last week, and it was mostly Carlton supporters because they're familiar with that channel. But if you guys are watching, jump across every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. I'd love the support. Throw in some comments supporting myself or the Tigers. Comments that you thought about the game, and we can discuss them once we see them pop up on screen. So plenty of exciting stuff coming up over the next few weeks. Football is well and truly back and cracking. There was some interesting results over the weekend. I mean, I'm recording this on a Monday morning. All the games are done, and it is wild, some of the results that we got. I don't know how you went in your tipping. I only got 5 out of the 9, and one of them was a gift because they gave me the draw as well because I tipped the Tigers, obviously, for the first game. So it's going to be an interesting season. I'm excited. I'm glad we're back into it now. There's stuff to talk about, stuff to reflect on. And I hope you guys enjoy the game as much as I did, despite the result being anticlimactic. So until the next video, I will be doing an Adelaide preview very soon. So until that video, enjoy the highlights, replays, whatever it is you do, and go Tigers.